Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live feed of real estate education here, hanging out with everyone. We got the whole team here. Chris is behind us. Heather's over there, who's I'm sure going to make some sarcastic remark at some point. I hope so. I love it. And Cassidy's here. Do you want to say hi?
Hi, guys.
So thanks for joining with us today. We are just going through a few things. Wanted to let you have the chance to come hang out with us live and talk to us and give us some questions that you might have, and we'll be happy to answer them. But really what we're doing is just kind of focusing on educating you today on how you can become a real estate agent and what those steps are. So we'll talk about those things, but as we go through it, please let myself or Chris know if you got any questions, and we'll be happy to answer them for you. All right. So a little bit about me and myself kind of is just, so I was a nurse for a number of years, actually 10 years. And I took kind of a leap of faith and jumped into a totally different career. And now I'm in the world of real estate. And the way that happened is Realty growth in town here is a really large commercial real estate agent in brokerage in Southeast Minnesota. And one of the owners of it, there's Nick, there's Bucky, and there's Dylan. And Bucky and I had went to school together a long time ago. And we have slowly kept in contact with each other over years. I saw what he was doing and I really enjoyed it. And fast forward to now, I've joined him, the whole team at Realty Growth, and now I just am a nursing supplemental, and it's a total different business, total different career path. So I like to just kind of educate people on what to expect if you make a switch from nursing or one career into another career. So it's kind of my background about myself. But what we wanted to talk about more so today was how to become a real estate agent and what those steps are. And we have an entire series dedicated to this and what to expect along the way. And we'll share that information with you in our descriptions down below. But first things first, I'm going to have Chris pull up the Kaplan page here. So what I did to get my real estate license is I went to Kaplan. They have a lot of different education resources out there, and that's one that I chose to use to get my real estate license. And they make it relatively easy from the moment that you log into their page to get your license. So very first thing, for you to get your license, there's not really a whole lot of qualifications that you need to have to get your license. Some of those things are you just need to be at least 18 years of age or older, and you need to have a high school diploma. You don't need to have really anything else other than that. The things that you do have to do, though, are to complete the required pre-licensure education, and you have to be able to pass the Minnesota real estate license exams, and that's it. There's no college degree. There's no time sitting in courses other than what you have to do for Kaplan. And we'll pull up that page here for Kaplan so you can kind of see it, go through the steps here, and we'll walk you through it. So looking at the Kaplan page, you can see here on the first step, like you said, you have to be 18 years of age or older, and from there you can do it yourself. You do have to register for course 1, and you have to complete the course 1 before taking the exam. After you pass that exam, though, then you can go on to the other courses as well. So there's going to be 3 different courses, and during this time, you're going to be having to do 90 hours of education. And they say it's 90 hours, but really it ends up being something around the lines of maybe like 150 hours because it takes a lot more time to go through the material than what you might think. The 90 hours are just the required amount of time that you need to sit down in front of the computer and actually complete each lesson. But if you really want to absorb the information and understand the information, it's going to take you a lot longer to learn it and understand it. So make sure that you spend the time and do it once and do it correctly. Moving down the list here, so you have to attend the licensing exam and preparation courses. Then you take the exams, and then you get to take the second and third courses. I found the second and third courses to be a lot more fun than the first one. The first course that you take is a lot about the kind of fine details that you need to know, the contracts and reading through them and gaining that knowledge. The last two courses are more on the sales and more on learning about what different types of real estate you can go into. I think when people are going into real estate, they might think that there's only one route that you can go, which would be residential. And that's not true. There's a lot of different fields that you can go into in real estate. So you can be a commercial real estate agent, much like myself. You can do residential, which I have done a little bit as well. So you can do both of those. You can just focus on one or the other. You can go into, trying to think of all the different ones. Industrial is another one that you can go into as well. So there's a lot of different fields that you can go into with the real estate world. The biggest thing is just going through and talking to others who are in this industry and finding out where you want to go and what your wants are in the career. Do you want to work with people and try to find homes for them, or do you want to focus on business? There's a big difference between these two. There's not a lot of correlation between them. I mean, there is in the way that you just make a sale, but there's a lot of different steps for commercial versus residential, for agricultural, industrial. So just kind of knowing what you want to do and what your focus would be, just know that before you jump into real estate. And you can always reach out to a real estate agent and ask to shadow with them, right? You can shadow with myself. You can shadow with anyone at Realty Growth. You just have to ask them. We'll be happy to do that for you so that you can learn what it's like to be a real estate agent and what steps are involved. So going back here to this Kaplan, like I said, I took it. It's 3 courses. It's 30 hours per course. And there are a number of different tests that you take for it. And there's a number of quizzes along the way that you take for it. When you are going to take your test, I think it's very important for people to really understand how they learn best. So I actually have my master's in education, and one of the things that we always like to tell people is make sure that you understand how you learn best. You know, some people it's listening, some people it is reading it, and some people it is kind of mixture of both of them. For myself personally, I needed something that was going to be a little bit more of self-paced, and it was going to be something that I could watch over and over again, and I needed to be able to hear it and watch it at the same time. That's just the way I learn. So being able to use Kaplan was a perfect way of doing that. You might be different. Maybe you just want to listen, or maybe you just watch the things, and you can do it once and you're good to go. But just knowing how you learn before you go into the program is essential. Let's quickly talk just a little bit too about the price and how much it costs to become a real estate agent and to get your license. So when you go to get your course and pay for it, I think the course is around $500 or $600. And then there is the exam fees that you pay, which are $65 each. There's a licensing application. I remember paying $100 for paying for that. A background check is $35, and so I think everything all in, I paid probably around $1,250 for it. I probably paid a little bit more than what I had to, because when you sign up for these courses, you have a certain amount of time to complete them, usually like 6 months or so. And I started during the holidays, which was the wrong time to start, because I was like, I'll get to it after the holidays, and I did. But I only had now 5 months then to complete my education, and I didn't quite finish it in that 5 months, so I had to pay for another month, which I think was like another $150. So make sure you plan to do this education at a time that is actually going to work for you, and make a plan to finish it in that 6 months so you don't have to spend more money on it. Okay. So then kind of moving on here as well, we talked a little bit just about how it's all broken down, and we talked a little bit about how you need to approach it and understanding your ways of learning. So we can, I just lost my page here. So what we have done too at Realty Growth is we have worked to try to help break this down for you and show you how the education is gonna go for you. Sorry. So yeah. No, that's no worries. So anyway, we have kind of created a number of different series for people to be able to go to. We did a 5-part series on our YouTube page, which you can go check out, and Chris can get that pulled up here. So our first video is just on how to become a real estate agent, much like what we're talking about today. We have the struggles and benefits of being a real estate agent. There's a lot of different benefits, and there's a lot of different struggles that come with being a real estate agent. If you're someone like me who has been in one career for a very long time and making a switch, you start to notice that there's some solace and some appreciation in just being able to go to work and work for 8 hours and then come home and not have to worry about anything. But also at the same time, then you're stuck with, you can't leave that job for 8 hours. Doing real estate, your mind is constantly going, but you can also flex your schedule and make it to what you need for your family or for your lifestyle. So that's in our second video. Our third video is just talking about finding the right brokerage to work with. So again, like I said, there's lots of different avenues that you can go with in real estate. The biggest two being residential and commercial. So you really want to find the right brokerage that works for you. So we kind of cover that as well. But in short, when you start to find which path you want to go down, go reach out to a number of different agents and talk with them, see what they like about their business, what they don't like, and try to gain a good feel from them. Then you can go back and find exactly what brokerages offer the field that you're working in. So at Realty Growth, we focus heavily on commercial real estate, and that was something that I had much more excitement about, so that's why I went into this. You might find that you like to do residential, so you need to go find some different brokerages that focus on that. Each brokerage is kind of broken down into different ways that they run their business. Some brokerages, you may have to pay for all your own things. You might pay for your office space, you might pay to use the printer, you might pay for your quarterly dues. So there's a lot of things that you might have to pay for. Other brokerages might pay for all that for you, and then you don't have to worry about it. Some brokerages are going to have a whole team that works with you, such as at Realty Growth, we have a whole media team here that works with us on everything, and it makes it a lot easier for us to get things done. Others, you're going to have to do it 100% by yourself. So just take a look at the different brokerages out there, ask them what they have to offer and what they can provide for you when you very first start in this field. The other thing that we talk about in our videos is, in our next video, we have the misconceptions of being a real estate agent. That one I think is a good video as well. It talks a little bit just about how I think a lot of people think that when you come into this field, you can make a lot of money really quick, and that can be true. I think that there are times where you can make $500 in an hour, but then there's other times where you're making $500 in 6 months. So that's one of the bigger misconceptions about this field. So make sure that you have a good understanding of this industry before you jump into it as well. Then the last video that we have just talks a little bit about the real estate business and realizing that you are your own business when you're a real estate agent. And you're having to make sure that you take care of every single thing by yourself. And it's not just, hey, I have to get up and make a phone call, but you're focusing on reaching out to your clients, organizing and managing all your stuff. You have to take care of the media side of things. You have to take care of the taxes. You have to make sure that everything's paid for. So there's a lot of moving parts when you are in this line of work. So you have to make sure that you and be happy to answer that for you. So we're going to move on here. I want to give some different tips too on how to study for getting your license. Like I said, that's kind of our main focus on today. So there's kind of 3 tips that I like to give people when they're focusing on studying for their real estate license. Hi, Bucky. I see you're watching, so thanks for joining. Are you in the office? If you are, come say hi. All right, so those tips when we are when you're studying, hey, look at that. Thanks for joining, everyone. I see we got a number of us here. So the 3 tips that I kind of want to share with everybody on when you're studying for your real estate license and getting it. The first tip is really just mapping out your success. And what I mean by that, and I did this myself, is just grab a calendar and schedule yourself to study for 90 minutes every day. So what I did is I studied for 90 minutes, all brand new material, and then I took 30 more minutes and I just did self-quizzing on that. So I would go back and I would just review what I learned the day before or what I learned on that day. Another trick to that as well is making sure that you are very consistent in your education. And you can take these tips with you with anything. It doesn't have to be with just studying for your real estate license, but for studying for anything. The other thing that I like to tell people, not only studying for 90 minutes a day, but making it a habit where you're doing that studying every single day. So I actually put up on my calendar at home, I put an X through every single day that I studied, and I made it a goal that I would have 5 straight days of studying in a row. So having a physical X there that I could see that I actually studied on that day was just kind of a visual reminder of, I need to get in there and do this. So it's just a little trick that you can use for yourself and try doing that. The other thing that you should do when you're studying for anything at all is just making sure that you set yourself a deadline. Okay, so like I had said earlier, is when you're doing a real estate license, you have 6 months to complete it. And I thought, yeah, 6 months to complete it, I'll just do that. It took me 6 months, but I didn't start it for a month, so I ended up having to pay for more time. So when you are doing your studies, make sure you plan a deadline. You have a deadline for when you're going to be completely done with everything, and stick to that deadline. Don't let it move. But then throughout your entire time, also set like individual deadlines. Say that I'm going to have course 1 done in this month, and I'm going to have these tests done at this time. So really following those deadlines and being very specific on when they're going to be done and holding yourself accountable to that. The other thing that I want to mention too that I felt was very helpful is being able to really immerse yourself in what you're learning. So with real estate, like I said, there's a number of different ways it can go: industrial, commercial, residential. I think that's really easy to immerse yourself with the residential stuff versus the commercial side of things. Not all of us have a business, but many of us already have a house, or we grew up in a house, or we know somebody who has a house, right? So we can connect ourselves to that material a lot more. So what I mean by that is, as you are going through material, think back to yourself. What was my experience like when I was buying my house? Or what was it like when I was living in that neighborhood? And try to just really connect it to your own life. Doing that, I feel like really helps you kind of solidify that information and stick with you a lot better. So mixing those 3 different things, mapping out your success, setting the deadline, and having that consistency, I really think are 3 huge things for studying, whether it be for your license or be for anything at all. Just getting in a habit and making that consistency, I think, is the biggest part of that. I'm going to get pulled up here. Let's see. Just checking if we got any questions there. Nope, no questions right now. Like I said, if you got any questions, let me know, and we'll go through them. All right. Yeah, thank you, everyone, for jumping on here. Yeah, that'd be great. Please do subscribe. We love that. And we're doing these because we're getting a lot of people checking out our page and subscribing, so we want to just keep in contact with you. So as we do these, please let us know what information you want to learn or what you want to hear about. And we'd love to keep growing this and doing it more, routine with everybody. We're going to do it a couple times this month and continue on into later times here too. So just keep us posted on what you want to learn and what you want to hear about, and we'll go through all of that, because I think I know what you guys want to know, but you know what you want, and you should tell us that. All right, so I'm going to move down here a little bit into kind of talking about some of the pros and cons of being a real estate agent. And so some of those bigger things that I have kind of realized, like I said, I've been in this career now for little over a year. And so here are some of the things that I've realized as advantages of being a real estate agent. And one of those is having a flexible schedule. This is kind of like a catch-22 in a way. Like, yes, you have a very flexible schedule, but it also makes it very hard to get your stuff done. Because again, you are your own boss, and you're the only person who's telling you what you should do and when you should do it by. So if time management is something that you struggle with, this might be something that you need to consider before jumping into a field like this, or really any business at all. You are 100% your own boss, and everything that you do falls on you. So while yes, you have a flexibility, it also can be a little bit of a challenge. So just making sure that you are good with your time management. The other thing that's awesome with real estate is that there is potentially high earnings with it. You could have but again, this is one of those things that's a little bit of a catch-22. So yes, you can have a lot of income in this field. You can also have very little, because it depends 100% on what you do and how you execute things. So as I said earlier, there are some times where you can make $500 in an hour. Those are awesome when that happens, but that doesn't happen all the time. More often than not, it seems like you make $500 over a month, 2 months, 3 months. And what I mean by that is oftentimes in the commercial side of things, you might do a lot of leasing for offices or for warehouses. And those things can be $500 to lease that space out. And that tends to be what your commission is, right? So it might be that you work with someone for a month, 2 months, 3 months to find them that spot, and you got $500 for doing that. Other times it might just take 1 hour. So you can see that there is potential for high earning with it, but there's also a chance where you might not make as much. So just realizing that too is very essential. Okay. The other thing, kind of moving forward here with other advantages of being in this field, is the career independence. This is definitely something that it's great being your own boss, but I will say at the same time, while you are your own boss and doing your own things and making your own hours, you also have a lot of bosses. You have the people that you're working with, which are going to be the people who are helping you out with your media or helping you out with your signs, people who are asking you to find them a space. And the more clients you take on, I look at that as more bosses, because you're really trying to help those people out and fulfill their needs. Hey, Heather, I see you joined us too. It's like you're in the room with me right now. Okay. All right. So the other thing that I think is really cool, talking about advantages within this field and some things that are great about it, I really love being able to help people out. So in the commercial side of things, it's really cool in this way. I've helped out a number of smaller businesses find a place for their business to go. And it is so satisfying when you work with a small company and you find them the perfect spot for their business. And I have found spots for people a year ago, and I love to see that they are still there and they are thriving. And that is something that's really awesome. It's great. It brings me joy to do that, and it makes them super happy. So I feel like in this field, there is a lot of happiness with it, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. I love working with others and being able to find them, whether it be a home or be a place for them to work and call home for their business. It is really satisfying in that way. I think the other thing with this is I really love that there is a huge diverse and dynamic work environment within this industry. It's really cool to see how you can make a plan that you think you're going to go this way, but then you're going to end up going a total different way. And it's really fun. It's changing every day, and it keeps me motivated. So that is one thing, again, I will say that if you're someone who wants to have just that consistency and know what's going on every day, this is a little bit of a challenging field for that. If you're someone who really thrives on having something different and taking on challenges, this field is awesome, and there's a lot of reward in that as well. And we did post a little question here as well. If you are interested in learning more about this, and so please answer that question that Chris has put up there for us. What questions do you guys have? Shoot us a message here. We want to hear from you, like I said. All right. Real quick here to kind of round things out, we'll talk a little bit just about the challenges in real estate as well. We kind of talked a little bit about them. One being that irregular income. That can be something that's really hard, especially if you go from a field where you are making X number of dollars and you know every single year you're going to make this amount of dollars. In real estate, you might have a year where you make 50,000, and the next year you make 200,000, and the next year where you make 30,000. So it's kind of all over the place. So that's something that you have to be mindful of when you look into going into this line of business anyway. It's also very highly competitive. There's a lot of real estate agents out there. And so that's something that you need to focus on as well, is that you are going up against a lot of other people in this industry. So how do you make yourself stand out, and how do you really make yourself known out there? It can be hard to get your name out there, especially right away in the beginning. So it takes time. So just stick with it. Okay. I think there's also the time part of it. It's very time consuming, but it's a different time consuming. I look at when you work in an office space for 40 hours a work week. That's very time consuming, especially if you have to drive far. Now you're looking at maybe for working that 40 hours, you're spending 50, 60 hours a week. Just like in real estate, you're going to be busy working 40, 50 hours a week, but it's different because there's times where I can spend 10 minutes on my phone and working. So the flexibility is huge in this part. While they're both time consuming, real estate does offer you that time to be flexible, and I really do love that. The other thing that I could said as well is there are some things that can be kind of hard, and one of those is constantly learning and adapting. Like I said earlier, if you're someone who wants to really just focus and learn and know what you're going to expect every single day, real estate is going to be a little bit of a challenge for you on that part, I feel like. But if you're someone who loves to learn and loves to adapt and loves to change, then real estate is something that you can do, and it can be really fun to do. So those are just a few of the struggles and some of the benefits of being in real estate that we kind of talked about today. So again, we're going to keep doing this, but we want to know from you and what you guys want to hear. So please reach out to us. Let us know. We would love to hear about it. And again, I'm just going to have Chris pull back up here. We already have a lot of this information out there that you can just go to. It's free. You don't pay us anything for it. Just go to YouTube, subscribe to our page so you can see these. We got 5 different real estate education videos for you. How to become a real estate agent, the struggles and benefits of being in real estate, finding the right brokers to work with, the 5 misconceptions of being a real estate agent, and realizing that you are a real estate business and what all comes with that. So check those videos out, and if you have questions on them, reach out to myself. You can reach out to anyone at the team. We'd be happy to help you out and just kind of provide you a little bit more detail. Again, one of the biggest things I like to say is you should really shadow someone. Find someone that you think would be a good person to follow. I would love to work with you, and you can shadow me. You can ask me questions. I love to educate. So just please ask me questions. I would love to teach you about all this and help you understand what it's like to either be in the world of real estate or just be running your own business yourself. Reach out. I would love to just chat with you. And I know that a number of us here at Realty Growth would be willing to do the same thing. Any other questions here before we pop off? Give you guys a moment to write something if you need. And it does look like Chris put in there as well the link into how to become a real estate agent. I don't know if you can share in there as well, Chris, just that whole playlist, the link there too, so somebody can get to that playlist. Oh, great. It's going to go straight to that playlist, so you don't even have to worry about it. All right, everyone. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. We are here to help you out anytime throughout this whole process. You can reach out to me. You can just email me even if you want, and we'll share that information here in the chat too, so you can just copy and paste it. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining us, and we really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and just follow along with us during this journey. It's great. Thank you all, and have a great day.